1. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Maintaining momentum.
As a business in today's digital age, regardless of your industry, you'll likely need a number of technology platforms and systems to communicate your purpose, attract customers, and ultimately manage your business and employees. This digital toolkit is what we call a technology stack, and virtually every business with an online system needs one. The choices you make for your technology stack can be crucial for the success of your organization, but with so many options to choose from, it can be overwhelming if you're a small business or just starting out. So where do you even begin? Well, let's talk about it. Hey everyone, welcome to Momentum, a podcast by Jotform, where we talk about the technology, productivity tips, best practices, and strategic insights that help us move forward in business and in life. I'm Elliott, your host, and I'm back once again with Chad Reed, Jotform's VP of Marketing Communications, to talk about technology stacks. Good to have you back, Chad. I think by now audiences might start to figure out you're more of a regular than a special guest, but I'm still going to treat you like you're special.
I would expect nothing less.
Excellent. I think it makes sense for us to mainly focus on what we know best as far as marketing tech stacks go for this episode, which really should be pretty applicable to most of our listeners because any organization needs marketing tools in some form to effectively make their presence known online these days. And speaking from the perspective of a company in the technology sector definitely gives us a better line of sight into what digital tools work well for a lot of these functions. So all that to say, I don't think talking about our own marketing technology stack at Jotform, for instance, will alienate listeners in another industry because these are all pretty universal applications, which is a good segue into our first topic, addressing the basic marketing needs businesses face that technology stacks can meet. You want to start by diving into some of those here?
For sure. Well, I want to start by saying marketing technology stacks, it really depends on the type of business and the type of budget. There's an amazing infographic that was posted on chiefmartech.com. Scott Brinkley, who's also the VP of ecosystem at HubSpot, so this is his space. But 10 years ago, I think he created this first infographic that just had a logo of every marketing technology platform out there, and there were 150. Today, 7,000.
No.
So the ocean of different technologies that you can use to enhance your marketing is just grown exponentially, right? So, by the way, Jotform is on that.
There you go. We're represented. One of 7,000.
It took me a good 15 minutes to zoom in, find which category it was under. But
that's just a huge growth, though. And what's he categorizing as a marketing application in that regard? Because Jotform, we have a lot of applications, but we're grouped into marketing technology. So how's he sort of categorizing that?
Yeah, I think he gives 6 categories and then dozens of subcategories.
Gotcha.
But advertising and promotion, content and experience, social and relationships, commerce and sales, data and management. And I bet among those, I couldn't guess where we were going to get listed. I figured maybe we were in data, maybe management, but we were under content and experience under the subcategory of interactive content.
Well, it makes sense because, if you think about it, marketing is so broad in the data that it requires and everything that falls under the marketing umbrella. You need all these things and all these platforms, to pull off marketing successfully. So I guess I can see that. But yeah, I think I know the infographic you're talking about. We'll link to it in the description of this somewhere so people can see it. But it is really pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. And I think for any business at your most basic level, this also includes how you publish your website, your social media, your email marketing. I think those are kind of the core, and then there's a lot that branches out from there. And as you add on personnel or headcounts or goals to your marketing team and your small business, you're just going to keep acquiring more and more technologies that need to help you get there as well.
Right.
Another funny thing is we as a department, the Jotform marketing department, I was just pulling up our ever-growing group of logins and for the different tools that we use, and there's well over 150. And It's just a lot, and
Yeah.
that's just marketing. Our design team, they're kind of separated, but they have their own logins, and our growth team as well. So really hundreds of companies that we're using in our tech stack just for Jotform marketing. So
yeah, there's a lot of tools out there, and a lot of them are pretty specific. But yeah, that's a good point. We're in triple digits for the number of tools that we use, and I think bringing that up is a good point of how expansive a technology stack can be. And we're obviously not going to go through 100+ recommendations on this, but I think it serves as an important example of just how many tools and toolkits are out there to help you succeed digitally online. So I guess that's kind of narrowed down a little bit to some of our key ones.
Yeah, well, like our key ones at Jotform.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, first of all, Jotform.
Jotform. We do use Jotform. We talked about this.
Yeah. I think ours has grown a lot as our priorities have shifted. I would include all social media channels as, they get lumped into our technology stack. So I think from an early standpoint, that was certainly something that we needed. We're so SEO focused that's such a critical part of our
optimization.
So we're well versed in a lot of the analytics tools and anything that can tell us more information on search trends or domain ranking. We can kind of get into a couple sort of at the end, but Ahrefs and Moz certainly are some big players that are used every day by our teams.
Just in case someone doesn't know, can you go a little bit into the background of domain ranking and what that really means?
Yeah, it effectively just means the strength of your website. So that's, there's no perfect way to determine that. That's a Google.
Right.
Google safeguards their algorithm. So, but effectively, are there authoritative sites that are linking back to your website? Is it showing up for the keywords that you'd like to target? That's effectively domain authority, and there's a lot of really good resources for determining that.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
and that's important to help cultivate SEO traffic and organic Google traffic and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And Ahrefs helps with stuff like that. So okay, yeah, no, that's helpful. I guess speaking to a few of those other platforms and stuff that you mentioned social media considers our own, is our own technology stack in some ways. Mm-hmm. I know there are even digital tools that help with social media management. I think we even got into a couple of those with Annabelle, for instance. But I guess, kind of from a broad devil's advocate perspective for all these tools, it seems kind of daunting when you sum it all up, right? So why can't all these things just be replaced with good old-fashioned emails and memos like in the old days? Why do we need all these tools to do these specific things when you can normally just fire off an email or post something and you're done? Yeah,
it's funny. I saw that question ahead of time, FYI to our listeners. But it made me think that my first marketing job 10 years ago, I'm not that old. My first marketing job, it was at a financial, like a very large Fortune 500 financial company, financial advisory group. And we were so hamstrung in what we were allowed to use for our marketing efforts because it all had to go through compliance checks.
Bureaucracy.
And it made me, it was a horrible introduction to marketing, first of all, because I had no fluency in any other technology, really. We had Constant Contact, which I still think is a great company. We have a great integration with them, with Jotform as well. But that was like the one that made it through our compliance department. But we couldn't change a comma in an existing piece of text without having that. But anyway, so that was my intro was the old fashioned way of, we had to send direct. My job was basically to send direct mail, folding envelopes, stuffing boxes, and then sending it out. And then our sales team would follow up. And we had an installed version of Act, which was like the CRM before CRMs were in the cloud. and it was hosted, and it was really burdensome. And so I don't know. I guess considering where that was, and maybe that was a reflection 10 years ago, because that's when there were only 150 companies that were on this on that first infographic, but it was just slow. Like just work was very, very slow, and yeah, I mean that's you need to have more. You need to have systems that integrate. You need to be able to do this because it just ultimately saves you time.
Yeah, I feel like that was a bit of a double whammy for you there, because a large financial institution, those are normally associated with being a little more rigid, a little bit more strict, just in the way they operate. Handling money. So it makes sense they have a little bit more bureaucracy, and plus hardly having any tools to choose from.
Yeah, no, it was terrible. We weren't even allowed to have a Facebook page or
really. Wait, like your own personal one or the
company?
Oh, okay. I was gonna be like, okay, they're really cracking down the financial sectors.
Yeah, it was
so there's
tough.
no social media presence for it at all.
None, yeah, and
that's interesting.
I think after I left, they had approved the capability to have a Facebook account, and I can't even imagine the process that they would have had to undergo to even
tape.
Yeah. But anyhow, coming from starting my marketing career at a really restrictive company, a really restrictive industry, I think it really opened my eyes to how important or how great technology can make your marketing efforts. So
yeah, I mean, it kind of harkens back to the old door-to-door salesman approach, right? Where you're literally just going door to door and selling something to someone in the house. Mm-hmm. And that used to be marketing. People used to do that in marketing. And the only real digital marketing that existed was maybe buying a TV ad or, being on a billboard somewhere. But there's no way to really easily reach people. And the digital revolution, as the name implies, really revolutionized that. And now it's become so important to utilize these digital tools to reach people where they are. And we have the capabilities to do so. So definitely. I guess, if you're building a marketing tech stack, where do you even start? Like if we go back to ground zero, we have all these tools, we have all these capabilities, but there's such an assortment of them. What makes it good? How do you filter out those decision sets?
It's trial and error, and it kind of goes back to really what you need. But fortunately, there are so many cost-effective tools. There's so many free trials. There's so many freemium products where you can get started for free.
Like Jotform is a freemium product.
Right, Jotform is freemium. And freemium, for anyone who doesn't know, is basically you get full access to a service, and then you only pay as your usage increases, right? Mm-hmm. So with a lot of these services and a lot of the services that we use at Jotform too, we're still under a free plan. We're using it in moderation, and certainly as we get to the point where we need to upgrade, we always do. But I would say just dive in and become conversant, just because it generally doesn't cost anything to trial it. And I think that's kind of an important thing to keep in mind.
Yeah, and that's a cool part about the digital age is the margin that's entailed from onboarding a new user. If your digital platform is usually so small that they can afford to give away something for free and hope that they get a percentage of users to actually upgrade. So to summarize, it really just depends, I think, on the individual needs of the organization, but also the scale, right? Because a small business, even us, we're around 300 employees, but even we can get away with the free plan of some of these digital tools. But there are obviously going to be some organizations that are way smaller than us. They probably won't need to get premium plans for almost anything. And then there are going to be obviously organizations that are way bigger. They probably won't be able to get away with that as much in their enterprise customers and such like that. Are there so many separate ones? Do any come to mind where you're a small business owner, what have you? You're like, I just want it simple. I want everything in one platform. Is there a solution where you can get some or all of these key features kind of rolled into one? Do they sync together, or are you just stuck in this world in limbo of navigating between dozens and dozens of digital toolkits?
That's kind of the trend. I mean, I'm so impressed by the companies that they're evolving to be like a full suite of small business marketing tools, and a lot of like the website publishers, the Weebly's and the Wix's of the world, and I think they offer some function of analytics and website building and social tools,
even some form builders for like Wix or Weebly or stuff like that.
Obviously not what you're going to be getting with a company that specializes on that.
It's interesting that they're trying.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but they want to loop it all in together.
Right.
And I think that's great, right? If you're a small business and you're starting from the beginning, like you're not going to be conversant in all of these different tools. You're not going to have the time, right?
Right.
Like you want
something simple.
Yeah,
easy.
you want something that's going to be able to allow you to focus on your business.
Right.
I saw my sister on. She went through this really recently. She is a veterinarian, and she started her own practice. And just watching her from a distance, of course, like plugging in Jotform wherever I can. Like, hey, I think you should.
Of course.
But like she had to do everything from scratch, right? And it kind of made me think like, okay, she had to create a logo, she had to create a website, she had to create a system for booking, she had to create forms, she had to create payments, she had to create flyers, she had to create email marketing, and like she wants to be a veterinarian, not a marketing specialist. So I think that's the most impressive thing today is that there are so many. Like for the person, for the solopreneur, for the small business person, for even the marketing team that doesn't have a lot of fluency, there are systems that you can use that just hand it all to you.
Right. And there's such a learning curve that can go along with navigating dozens of different systems too. And you make a good point. If we're a marketing team. So I think it's a little unfair almost to compare. Like marketing is what we do; it's what we're paid to do. But you get a veterinarian or any other small business industry, that's not what they do. They want to focus on their core business, but they kind of have to fit in marketing somehow because everyone needs those facets of marketing that you talk about. So that's where the simplicity and sort of the cohesiveness of platforms being able to give them multiple solutions in one platform helps a lot. So it makes sense that a lot of these systems are trying to become more sticky and more comprehensive with the portfolios that they have on their sites. Like even Jotform, we release new features, every few months that kind of helps our stickiness, expands our use cases. And I think any online service system that's trying to be sticky and retain consumers, that's something they need to consider, because if you just hone in on one thing, customers, especially if they want an easy experience, are going to find a site that offers more all in one.
Yeah, for sure.
And that'll be more convenient for them. So yeah, it all goes back to assessing the individual needs. And trying to determine where you prioritize, I think your time and energy. So if you're starting the journey, what are some resources you can use to find these products? Let's say you need an email marketing service, or you need XYZ for your business, for your veterinarian business. How do you even start? Do you just Google? Are there review sites? How do you recommend even going about kicking off the process for someone who isn't familiar?
Yeah, I mean, I would recommend just pulling up that infographic of the 7,000 logos and just...
No, that's a good one. I mean, you can sift through all. It shouldn't take you too long. In the course of 29 days or something, you should be able to get through a little block. Yeah. Plenty of information there.
No,
so
for sure.
If you don't have time for that.
If you don't have time for that, there are some great review sites. Capterra's certainly one of them. G2, I think AppSumo or something like that. They're another resource. But effectively, they enlist a lot of reviewers to come on, and there's a chart that kind of shows you where, like the sentiment rating or which are more popular and what some of the use cases are.
So these are just tech review sites.
Tech review sites, right. And then, of course, a lot of publications. There's technology sites like TechCrunch, but if you're talking about great resources for marketing technology, there's some really specific publications that offer a lot of specifics. So I think Martech series is a good one. Martech Today is probably the gold standard. Search engine land, just really good, like they're going to have great product reviews, really great details. Tech Radar is another one. So yeah, I mean, there are a lot of resources out there where you can get not only news but reviews and just really great information on that stuff. Product Hunt. That's something that if you're active on Product Hunt, you've probably seen Jotform. They're not all specific to helping businesses or marketing teams, but certainly like a few times a day, you'll see something on there that's going to help you increase your productivity and just kind of be on the front, the cutting edge of technology. So that's a great site too. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, or just Googling your problem.
Right.
How to get better competitor analysis or how to create a landing page. I think that's probably how most people are finding what they're finding.
Right.
But because there is such an ocean of tech these days, that's you're likely going to stumble into. If not the list of the products themselves, usually the review sites that are offering comparisons.
And I think those are key because a lot of companies, us included, want that SEO traffic that we get. So if you Google something specific, you will probably get sponsored ads where companies pay to appear further up in the search rankings. And I'd recommend if you are just starting and you're trying to find a specific solution for something, that's where the review sites and the listicles really come into play. So you aren't just clicking on someone's sponsored ad that they just paid to have there. Go to an informed website that actually has different reviews aggregated. Because I think a lot of people might just Google something, click on the very first ad result. They probably paid for that, so it's not necessarily meaning it's the best. Do a little bit of research and you'll benefit from that. And also if you have friends or colleagues, whether your company or another company that gives you a referral, that's also huge. And a lot of sites actually pay a little something if you do give a good referral, if you believe in their product. So they're incentivized to do so, hopefully for the right reasons. So that's also a good resource. So this all has been a good conversation. Let's boil it down to kind of your favorites. I guess that for the purposes of this, we should sort of break out into two lists, I think. Let's do one where it's kind of the premium technology stack. Like, okay, you're maybe a larger organization, you have a little bit of budget, you want to really, really set yourself up to success, and you can dedicate yourself to understanding these platforms. What would be your premium marketing technology stack if you could kind of have the best of the crop?
Yeah, I'm gonna veer toward a couple unusual ones that I think we've just found really useful as a department. They're not necessarily brand names, but they're really interesting to me. One of them is Clarity. This is not something that we use every day, but it's premium because of how much you pay for what you get when we do pay it. But effectively, it's a platform for discovering experts on any particular field and realm. So as a marketing team, we've used it a number of times when we had to make a big decision on something, and it aligns you with a consultant that you'll pay per minute, which is how it's expensive.
Per minute, that is when
but
not per second yet.
Yeah, but when we want someone to weigh in on pricing, for instance, right? We had a long debate on how we needed to position Jotform pricing, and we enlisted the help of consultants on Clarity, and it's just an awesome platform that I think any technology team can use to, regardless of, or any marketing team can use regardless of size. If you're big, there are higher level decision makers that can really help you out. If you're small, there's someone there too. We've also used them for, YouTube strategy, things like that. So they're awesome. So Clarity, I think it's clarity.fm is the URL. I would call them a premium one. I put voices.com as a premium one. Love
voices.com.
And it's again not something that we use every day, but voices.com is a site for getting voiceovers for videos, and
Right.
as we create so many videos at Jotform, I'm first of all, I'm just blown away at the responses that you get. If you post something on voices.com, you go in, you upload a sample script, and I was thinking, oh, maybe this week we'll have like 4 or 5 to pick from. No, within an hour you get like 50 awesome voice, and you get so many that it becomes really difficult to choose the right one, and you kind of feel like you're hearing like just slight nuances or variations in voice.
Hearing the same script over and over.
Hearing the same script over and over.
The latest video we used Voices.com on was our Jotform tables April Fool's video, which highly recommend you guys go and check it out. If you haven't, it's awesome. We used Voices.com for that, and I think we got something like 400 or 500 responses, all reading the same script, and it's like, okay, how do you even start? And you have some very interesting takes on it too, and you can put down, the age range if you want an accent and intonation. You can put down like personality traits with it, like sarcastic, or I can't even remember what we picked for it, but it's a fascinating tool.
We wanted
platform.
Like a pretentious. British accent, and we got so many awesome voices.
There are so many awesome pretentious British accent voice actors out there. Who would have known? But it is a very cool platform. I'm glad you mentioned that one.
And then another one. I mean, the last one I'd say is not exactly unknown, but I think they're cool brands, and that's Moz. And it's just a great SEO platform. It's something that you can use really well for comparative reasons, to check up on how your competitors are searching, and then trends over time, and then how you're performing for specific keywords. And then also kind of going back to like how strong your domain is. But Moz is great for that. I think especially as you wouldn't want it right off the bat necessarily if you're just getting started. But if your marketing team is scaling, then Moz can definitely scale with you. And I think that's great for that. They also have a wonderful blog that's just awesome resources on all things search marketing, and kind of a good thing to tap into. So I'd say there are a lot out there, but I think for like some of the premium ones that we've used at Jotform, they definitely stick out. No,
those are cool. Those are some unique picks too. So I guess if we reverse that now and we go the opposite route and say, okay, what are the budget technology, the marketing technology stack options? So if you're a small business, or maybe you don't have a dedicated marketing team, you want something quick and scrappy, preferably not too expensive. What would your list be in that situation? I think
so. On the opposite end of Moz, just a really quick and dirty SEO tool is Answer the Public. AnswerThePublic.com. There is a paid version, but even the paid version is only, I think, under $50 a month. But effectively, it's like it's almost data visualization on any keyword that you type in. So if we typed in, forms, it's gonna give you a round graph of all the questions that are being asked about forums, or statements or whatever. It's just if you're looking for what are people searching on any given topic, Answer the Public is really awesome.
That's pretty cool.
So
I just went to their website just now because I hadn't heard of it.
Oh, they have an awesome landing page.
Guys, you should look up their landing page. It's answerthepublic.com. There's this guy who's just staring at me, and I don't know what he's doing. He's trying to talk to me, or he's looking at the search bar and sort of enticing me to type something, and he's just making this aggressive eye contact. It's hard to describe. But look up the landing page. It's maybe we should do this for Jotform. Just kidding. But that's a good resource. I didn't know about this one. That is pretty cool.
They're great, and they're great if you want to figure out topics to either produce in your blog, or if you are looking for topics to create on your video channel, or whatever it is. I think it just gives you a great sense of what are people looking for around a specific topic. So
I just looked up chocolate, and the way they visualize their answer is quite interesting. You have like some of the keywords that come after it, like chocolate will, chocolate what, chocolate why, like the words that are associated for it, and then it branches out into a bunch of other small answers. Anyway, very cool.
Yeah.
So what's next?
Yeah, I'll go Unsplash. So Unsplash is a free Unsplash, yeah.
UNSPLASH.
Yep. Gotcha. So Unsplash is a site for basically getting really high quality stock images, but they're not really stock images. They're like user curated, amazing images that are all free. So it's, I think I still frankly don't quite understand how they make money. I'm sure that information is available, but I've always used it for free, and it's great to, sometimes you can like credit the photographer or something like that when you use a photo, but their photos are incredible. And if you really want any subject, their library of content is really, really huge. So, if you wanted to post a picture of Kansas City or something like that, you type it in and you're going to get really artistic pictures that you've never seen before. Like there's so many on there that almost have a distinct Unsplash feel to it. Like they're very like artsy almost, and not very corporate. But if that's they're perfect for putting into blogs or whatever landing pages or something like that too. So.
And this is this is an important one, especially for some people in different industries or just starting out. You want to just look for a background image, slap it onto something, send it out. You usually can't do that because of royalties and licenses. So if you're using it in a corporatized way, and you're presuming to make revenue based off the message that you're communicating, you can get dinged for that. So it's important to make sure you're getting royalty-free licensed images that you can use. And I think some people maybe miss that. So having a resource like Unsplash is actually really important, just so you can have those images and you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'll have a quick story on why you need to use a safe site for that kind of thing. Also, early in my marketing career, I was told by a manager we were starting a blog, and she just said to find images off of Google.
That's how it's done.
It sounded like a safe enough idea, and whatever risks that I figured there might be, I figure were, they weren't worth considering, because I was like, who's honestly
no one's really gonna care?
And who's going to see this blog?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you who's going to see that blog. Getty Images. They will find it. They have a team. They have an army.
That's how they make their money, is finding people who use their images without paying.
Yeah,
basically.
And they did. And like my manager and the head of marketing, who I never spoke to, like marched into my office and were like, "Why did you use this picture?" And I was like,
told me.
It was on the Google. Anyway, so yeah, they slapped us with a very heavy fine. And you don't have to worry about that with Unsplash. So yeah, don't risk just getting images from wherever, and don't just assume that that your business or your department or whatever is too small to hide from the reach of Getty Images. They will come and find you. So use something like Unsplash. Plus Unsplash just has amazing photos. So I couldn't recommend them more.
Right. Yeah. And my anecdote about royalties and licenses comes from my prior job was in the advertising industry, and I advertised for a fast food company. And the person who had my job before me, they ran an advertisement for his fast food company where they hadn't ensured that the actor was licensed. So he had a licensed range until August, and then after August you had to pay him more, or suddenly the ad was considered unlicensed. So it was not royalty free anymore. That's sort of how advertisements work, similar to like how images works. So this individual ran the unlicensed ad, which SAG, the talent agency, caught, because they have similar people who go out and look for these things, and hundreds of thousands of dollars, because it's a national campaign. Yeah. So hundreds of thousands of dollars. And guess who's liable for that? The agency who runs it, not the fast food corporation. It's the agency. So that person didn't have the job when I got my job, understandably.
Shocker.
So I never made that mistake, knock on wood, but I'm also very sensitive to royalty-free images and any materials that you use in marketing. Just make sure you have the rights to it, because that can be a big faux pas. So moving on, after Unsplash.
Yeah, I got one more. Google Trends. I think it's just a lot of people use Google Trends, but not a lot of people necessarily use it for marketing. But I still use it to this day. I think it doesn't give very specific information, but it gives information of search volume over a period of time. Mm-hmm. So if we typed in our company name, we can see the trends of are people searching for Jotform more on this month or on this year, and you obviously want to see it go up and to the right. But it's not just a vanity thing. It's also an amazing competitive analysis tool that you're getting for free. So it allows you to I think you can enter 4 or 5 searches into the bar, and it gives you a line.
You see them all at once, right?
Yeah, it gives you them all at once in different colors. So any company can type in their 4 biggest competitors, and then you're getting a sense of, again, it's not showing you revenue, it's not showing you users, it's not showing you anything other than search. But it's a really valuable tool because most people today, I'm not going to say most people, a lot of people today are just Googling the company that they're about to sign into. Right. Or that they're looking on the website, so they might be existing customers, and we're assuming that a lot of them are a rise is referrals or word of mouth marketing, but it's also people searching to log into their own account. So it's a really helpful tool that we've been using for years, and we still use just because it's really easy to use, really intuitive. You can also break it down geographically if you want to look at just the U.S. or globally or by state. Which is really helpful. So Google Trends, awesome for free competitive analysis.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think that's I remember if you look up, for instance, after the Super Bowl, a lot of the articles will say, oh, what's trending on Google Trends after the Super Bowl? What ads made a splash? Like they use that because suddenly people are searching them, stuff like that. So it is very helpful, sort of directional insight and absolutely great competitive analysis because that can be hard to find other places. So being able to put your brand's name in there and then another brand's name that are in the same space and just see right there how both are trending is really important. And the fact that it's free is great. Yeah. So every company 100% agree that I think is plausibly even one of the most important ones, being able to use Google Trends. Great. So those are 2 good lists there. Is there anything we're missing? I think we've covered a lot here in the discussion about just marketing technology applications in general, sort of how to filter it down, how to find what's right for you based on the situation, kind of how we've evolved into the marketing tech stacks that we see today, and finally some tools that you can actually use and some ways to find them. So I hope this has been informative for any listeners. Is there anything else that you can think of we kind of missed or didn't cover? Any last tidbits of wisdom? Yeah,
I mean, I would say if just as a general tip, just get started. I think all these companies are putting such an emphasis on user experience and making sure their products are easy. So the learning curve is never as difficult as you assume it might be, even if the topic is complex. So don't let your ignorance in a topic stop you from learning it yourself. So
just get out there. Wise words of wisdom, good sir. Awesome. Well, thank you for this. I think that wraps us up for this episode. Be sure to tune in next time when we'll be talking about video marketing.